¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having the best possible Monday. How's it going, everybody? Astro, how's it going? Mayhem Hippie, how's it going? Welcome, everybody. Howdy, howdy. I would say good morning, but yeah, I get you. So at this point, everybody probably knows, as of the beginning of this weekend, half this country woke up as second-class citizens. How about that? It's 14:18 here. Howdy. Welcome to sunny Wimbledon. Monday on day 1. British summer is here. The first thing that we should do, I guess, get Rex Scotus. Your fall is coming. Well, the reality is this is not a good situation. There's no way of there's no real way of like trying to find and there's no way of putting a positive spin on this. It's just bad. Lee Spanner, how's it going? Morning. And unfortunately, it's probably going to get worse. I'm not even gonna front. Like, there's just no good way of painting this. Would putting clinics on government land solve the matter? I don't know what that means. Like, do you mean putting, like, public clinics? Or do you mean, like, putting clinics on federal land? Just to make sure I'm understanding correctly. Yes, for like reproductive health clinics. We have something like that. It would be like I think what you're referencing would be kind of like Planned Parenthood. The problem is that because of this ruling, exactly, Mayhem Hippie just just gave the answer. Because of this ruling, it's now in the state's hands, not the federal government's hands. So, yeah, that's just that's just the ruling. Unfortunately, what should be happening, or what should have happened, really, is that this should have been codified into legislature. That's it. That's really what should have happened. I mean, like, this isn't an argument. Like, basic bodily autonomy is not up for debate. Just full stop. The federal government basically just told women to go back to the 50s and we don't care if you die. True. No. Specifically, let's be very specific. The Republican Party, conservatism, told women to go back to the 50s and, you're not people. You're just simply birthing pods. That's it. On government land, the federal government rules would apply. Not necessarily, not really. Like, I understand, like, that's kind of how it works, but not really, if that makes sense, right? Kind of, but not really. Kind of, but not really. Kind of, but not really. Because even if a clinic was built on federal lands, the rules of the state also, like, there's kind of a push and pull there. The federal government just told women that they will not protect us. It is up to our individual states now to protect the women's reproductive rights. They have almost 50 years to codify Roe. True, and they failed. Yes. Trash country. True. So are you saying that the federal government does not say what can and can go on in their own land despite the state? Yes, there's limitations. Yes, because, like, wouldn't technically all land be federal land? Like, does that make sense? Like, just because the federal government, there's a area designated as federal, does not mean that some of the state, like, laws do not apply. But the answer to that, Astro, is you have to codify it. You have to make it federal law in order for that to be a thing. Does that make sense? Like, what you're saying requires it to be kind of like a federal thing. The VA hospitals on federal land can perform abortions. Okay, wait, hold on. Maybe am I gonna eat my own hat here? Is that true? Hold on. I think. Wait. So if there is a hospital, well, a public hospital, that's on a federal public hospital that's on federal land, then they can technically perform abortions, right? Is that am I right on that? Meaning, is Astro right on that? Because to my understanding, like, wouldn't it be left up to the states because the federal government isn't going to get involved? I don't know. So Congress and Senate would have to codify this. Yes. That's what I heard. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Anyways, the situation is absolutely atrocious. Morning as a person who has less freedoms than last week. Howdy, Samaline. Morning. Unbelievable that just about half of the population woke up as second-class citizens. There are 26 states that had shotgun laws already to ban abortions and contraception. That's what gets me. Like, contraception? So it was never really about the children, was it? The fact that they want to ban contraception tells me it gives it away. It gives it away. The fact that they would want to ban contraception gives it away. It's forced birth. They don't give a shit about pro-life. Yes, trigger laws. The FDA is fighting the bill being sent through mail laws because the USPS is federally run. Congress and Senate would rather use my rights as a campaign point for voters than protecting me. I think that honestly, I think that you have a right to be angry, Mayhem Hippie. I mean, the abject failure of the Democratic Party here is a thing on its own. Yeah. It's punishment for promiscuity. Right, because conservatives, the Republican Party, is basically just some fundamentalist extremist. Can I link a base tweet that speaks to the origin of this attack on Roe? Yeah, I think you've got a little diamond. You should be able to. Hit me up. All right, let's see.
And right now, white people are really frightened. If you don't understand the destruction of Planned Parenthood offices, and you don't understand the wall that we're going to build on the southern border of the United States, you haven't read the book, The Birth Dearth by Ben Wattenberg. Ben Wattenberg was a brilliant Jewish man who was a member of the American Enterprise Institute. And he wrote a book, the first paragraph of which says, the main problem confronting the United States today is there aren't enough white babies being born in this country.
I've heard that before.
He was an advisor to presidents of the United States. He wrote the book in 1987. He says if we don't change this and change it rapidly, white people will lose their numerical majority in this country, and this will no longer be a white man's land. Now, I'm not misrepresenting this. I'm telling you almost exactly what he says. He says there are three things we can do to solve this. Number one, we could pay women to have babies, as they have been doing in Western European nations for years. Then he says, and these are his words, not mine, unfortunately, we would have to pay women of all colors to have babies, so we don't want to do that. He says the second thing we can do is increase the number of legal immigrants that are allowed into this country.
Yeah, but we can't do that. Wait, I've heard this before. Wait, I've actually heard this before. I just didn't know that this was the guy who... Okay, it's all... What is that, Kronk, from Emperor's New Groove? A meme? It's like, oh, now it's all coming together.
Then once again he says, unfortunately, the vast majority of those wanting to come to this country today are people of color, so we don't want to do that. The third thing he says, and women had better pay attention to this, 60% of the fetuses that are aborted every year are white. If we could keep that 60% alive, that would solve our birth dearth. Does that sound like racism to you? And if it doesn't, I want to know why it doesn't.
Huh. This is your time to shine, men. It's now more than ever to protect women. Oh, yeah. Obviously, everybody should be in favor of this. Hey, Fu Man. I'm angry and I live in a state that's super progressive, and if that's the case, I demand forced vasectomies. Men's roles just got super important in preventing pregnancies. True. Promiscuity is not the issue. This affects married people too. Yeah, but these like fundamentalist folks are just like gone. That this was Clarence Thomas. Oh man. This is white supremacy lashing out like a cornered animal because it's being subject to demands for equality, accountability, and justice. Yeah, but like I also think that there's a crucial role in religious fundamentalism that I think cannot be ignored. That also has its own face, if that makes sense. Big time. That's why they attack the education system. Correct. That's why they want federal tax dollars to fund private religious schools. They want indoctrination centers for kids. That's what it is. And then they want to force them to have children because they're uneducated. They have no education, and they're perfect to keep the hamster wheels going. Gilead, yeah. This also has a, I believe it was Mayhem Hippie who brought this up. This is also to do with like the idea of a perpetual cycle of for working class people. What about women like me? I'm almost 40. I cannot take pills. I was denied my right to tie my tubes at 28 when I had my last child. I cannot use a non-hormonal IUD due to the shape of my uterus. I'm allergic to latex. Do you know how hard it is to find non-latex condoms? What happens if my condom breaks? My fiance and I are way too old for kids. It's literally dangerous for me at this age. Yeah, yeah, this is a complete and total attack on your rights to just simply exist, Mayhem Hippie. That's the point. That's all this is. It's a way of control. Oh, they plan to roll back the gains of labor movement guarantee. They want to bring us back to the 1850s. Yeah, and yeah, they want to take us all the way back. That's true. 100% carpet packs. 100%. I mean, they're already signaling. Well, this isn't like a hyperbole or a fallacious slippery slope, but expect more. Expect more. Look no further than the opinion, the concurring opinion in that same ruling. Clarence Thomas said that, you know, maybe based on this logic, should the right case come about, maybe we should amend, correct, I believe was his words, correct the decisions that legalized same-sex marriages, relationships, outlawed anti-sodomy laws, and also there was 3 cases, and protects the rights of couples for contraception. That's not a hyperbole. That is not an exaggeration. That is literally what Clarence Thomas wrote. So, they're not going to stop. It's just going to get worse. This is just a mellow viewpoint. My viewpoint is not extreme. They're not talking about rape victims, incest, abuse, nothing. This is just your average white woman viewpoint. However, those GOP mistresses will be flown out to other countries and states to get their abortions. Oh yeah, 100%. It's never going to affect them. It's never going to affect them. Too bad we can't fire Thomas. No, there's not one that can tell me I'm being hyperbolic any longer. True. So it is even worse. The Roe v. Wade decision being overturned means all of us have even fewer privacy rights. Roe v. Wade was based on privacy. Other decisions they're going after is also based on privacy. HIPAA was based on the same reasoning and passed after Roe versus Wade. In my opinion, it won't take long before governments are subpoenaing medical records. Yeah, to make sure that they can punish people suspected of abortions. And guess what, folks? It's all about making sure that less rights are available. Thomas needs to keep his decisions away from marriages and sex. Well, yeah, he's a extremist. Opinions on the no US map? I don't know what that means. I've seen this meme. Yes, I've seen this meme. Send that to me, Baker. This is an actual quote, by the way, folks, from Ben Shapiro. If we had a Supreme Court worth its salt, they would overturn gay marriage. That's an actual quote. This is how you radicalize half the country, and with the Miranda rights, sorry, but protesting is over. If I go out, it'll be a riot. There was a Kentucky law proposed in 2019 that didn't pass, but was about having every woman required to test every month, and if they didn't show up, they would go to jail. Now that Roe's gone, I suspect they may try again. Oh yeah, it's all bets are off, Samaline, and like the whole end game is to, is this exactly, is punishment, and more importantly, test for what? That you're, monthly period, because they want to make sure that you're not having an abortion, because if you are pregnant, then it's already on the record. If I'm correct. Yeah, for pregnancy. There you go. How do I send you things? Whisper it to me. I thought you were switching times. July 5th, my friend. Wretched deal. July 5th. I will make another announcement as well. Everyone needs to contact senators and governments. Go no further with marriage and sex habits between consenting adults. That's part of it, but it's gonna take a little bit more than that, Alio. Whisper opinions on no US map. I don't know what that means. Just send it to me in direct message. Jesus. Yeah, so they're not going to stop, folks, and the end game is to make sure that that if you have a uterus, well, it's going to come to a time where a lot of these things are going to become federal, not federal, sorry, felonies, and once they become felonies, well, they can take away your right to vote. Okay? Once they can take away your right to vote, they take away your voice. Also, as a side note to the Second Amendment, folks, how do you square this circle? Guess who also can't obtain weapons? For remember, the premise for a lot of these arguments are well, they need to protect themselves. Okay, guess who can't obtain a weapon? That's right, felons. That's right. Anyone using a period tracker app might want to consider deleting it before its data is subpoenaed by the authoritarian creeps. Agreed. 100%. The fact that we have to, talk about this is unbelievable to me. Can we just take a second? Can we just take a second to soak that in? To soak that comment in? The fact that we have to even make a statement or make a suggestion or advice to delete an app because all bets are off at this point. It's just wild. It's just dystopic. Hey, Spread It Forward, how's it going? Okay. A literal map without the US. Okay. I see what you're saying. I was confused as all heck. If people actually need it, they can just use false personal information or make calendar events in Google Calendar. Maybe. Just be careful about it. Yes. Can we have a moment of silence before the death of democracy? Well. It depends on the state. Some states have stronger HIPAA rules. Yeah, well, I don't know. Everything is so in flux right now that I don't know. This one map alone would solve the Roe v. Wade issue. I mean, yeah, because that's only a problem. Well, okay, so this is unique in the sense that like it happened here. Okay, but there's a lot of other areas that do not guarantee women's rights, the right to bodily autonomy. There are other areas as well. But yes, this is to make a statement for what happened here. Yes. The Star Wars democracy dies with a thunder surprise. Oh, yeah. Is pretty spot on. Yep. Canada covers it under government insurance. Nice. Must be nice. Yeah, so basically at this point in time, folks, get to know your neighbors, please. Get to find mutual aid organizations. There are plenty out there. Get to know each other. All right. Build networks. Build strong, tight-knit networks. Okay. Baker Brother, thank you for the follow. I'm from the UK and we don't even talk about abortion. It's crazy that America's even still debating something like this. I really have no hope for the US. As much as hyperbole that it seems, unfortunately, you know, I don't know. It's gonna get a lot worse. It's gonna get a lot worse as long as there's a Republican party, then it will continue to get worse. As long as there's a Republican party, things will continue to get worse. I'm just saying. Rules and laws still exist, and U.S. Housing can make SCOTUS difficult. Yes, but that would be on the presupposition or whatever, the presumption that we have a strong opposition party. There's little that you can do to change a ruling. No, yes, wretched deal. There's little that you can change to impact a ruling, but they can just legislate it to you. They can just legislate it, and that's it. They can just legislate it and fix this entire thing, and be done with it. But whatever. They had that opportunity during the Obama administration and they failed. That's basically it. I'm sure they've had multiple opportunities, but the most recent one being the Obama administration. I just don't share your optimism. Is Trump in prison? Which Lehman exec is in prison for fraud? How many sitting congressmen don't accept Biden as a legit president? How close are we to impeaching SCOTUS liars? Nowhere near any of that. They're losing the midterms to the Republicans. Maybe. Maybe. I think that I think that the winds might change. I think that the winds are changing. At the beginning of this year, I would have told you that the Democrats are about to get freaking laid out in this midterm election, but now I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. It is still possible, but I'm not sure. I'm not so sure. The economy is too bad for people to care about abortion. I don't think you understand how powerful that could be. I don't know, Wretched Deal. I don't think you understand how powerful this can motivate people. I will no longer vote against people and will only vote for people. This means that the Dems are probably not going to get my vote in my preliminary ballot. I only like 2 races contested and none of them are critical. I feel like both parties are neoliberal. No. We got Corbyn. We got so close with Corbyn, but then they used the power of the media to squash that. Our current Labour Party is run by left politicians. If we have no hope for ever getting a progressive leader here, I have no idea how the US would get someone like Bernie. Yeah. I think the Republicans have scored an own goal. I'm leaning towards that. I think that the winds might be shifting. We'll see. RBG could have helped by stepping down sooner. The DNC could have helped by passing laws while in power. Agreed. By not pushing terrible candidates over what the people wanted. The Senate not impeaching Trump didn't help. We've had plenty of opportunities to make change, but Democrats love the problem of abortion rights because it's a huge source of donations. I think that there's some aspect of that is true. Basically, de facto promising to codify if they get power. I think they'll betray us and kick the can so that they can keep fundraising and vote bullying. Maybe. I don't know. The point is, like, the Democratic Party, has its separate, separate issues and separate ire that should be directed at them. What I don't want people to forget is who did it, okay? What I don't want people to forget is who actually did it. Who is to blame here, okay? Who exactly is to blame here, and who pushed the lever? That would be the Republican Party, okay? What happened here is a direct result of Republicans winning elections. I can't put it any clearer than that. They love telling us the problems, but don't love fixing them because that would mean we don't need them anymore. But like, I don't know. Like, directing the ire, they've got their own separate ire to be chastised over. I get it. And I agree with you. I just don't want to lose the eye on the ball, which is, it's the conservatives. The conservatives winning elections is how we got here. Okay? That's it. I can't put it any plainer. Conservatives winning elections is how we got here. That's it. There's no other... There's no other simpler breakdown than how we got here. It's just simply conservatives win elections, and this is what happens when conservatives win elections. Period. There's no other there's no other way There's no other way to try to spin it any other way. They know the other abuser is worse, and their only point is to lean on we are better than them. No. At this point is not about we are better than them or anything like that. At this point, it's just simply stopping that the GOP. That's it. That's the only use at this point. Voter apathy is by fiscally conservative but socially liberal liberals led to this moment. Partially, yes. But at the end of the day, like, enough conservatives came out to do that. Dems had the chance to stop this. They pussyfooted around and did nothing. Agreed. Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Agreed. Yes. I just don't want people to forget the real problem, the real danger here is conservatism obtaining power. Okay? The winds are also shifting against the Dems for failing multiple opportunities over to codify it over 49 years.
Voting blue is not enough. Democrats, we call your bluff. Voting blue is not enough. Democrats, we call your bluff. Voting blue is not enough. Democrats, we call your bluff. Voting blue is not enough. Democrats, we call your bluff. Voting blue
Is that Beto?
Democrats, we call your bluff.
Is that Beto O'Rourke? We can't erase the SCOTUS. It would nice, but we use the tools that we have. Yeah, we can't. I know we can't Thanos snap the SCOTUS. That's for sure. The real danger is everyone who's saying babies win. No, they do not. They will suffer more because of this. Oh yeah, 100%. Those are conservatives who are saying this. Yes, conservatives are the danger here, folks. Just to be very clear. The GOP has no business being anywhere near power. Okay? It's only after something terrible happens that Dems care to say something. Agreed. I'm more scared and angry at the GOP, but Dems deserve my anger as well. Yeah. I get it. But I'm saying it is a separate ire. It's a separate axe to grind. Does that make sense? If no one votes, only Republicans, it will be worse. Only a figure could shepherd the transition. Unfortunately, we are into people and celebrities and not ideals and platforms. Yeah, that's kind of true. Could a third party ever take power? Technically, technically yes, but the likelihood of a third party ever having viability is very low. So yeah, no. A third party is not viable in this duopoly, okay? Unfortunately.
Blue is not enough. Democrats, we call your bluff. Voting blue is not enough. Democrats, we call your bluff.
Based. If a third party starts to gain traction locally, we could ever have them a chance at a national election? Maybe, but that takes a lot of groundwork to build. For that to even... It would be monumental, the effort to make that... I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that we've got shorter time. The time frame does not allow us for us to... I mean, I guess we could walk and chew gum at the same time, but... I heard there's a perfectly legitimate case to take action under the Constitution against the Supreme Court for being politically biased. I don't know about that, because like, but I don't think there's any rule against being politically biased. Like, despite what anybody tells you, the Supreme Court is a political institution. Okay, to tell me that those aren't like that they don't have biases, it would be incorrect. I think what you can have an argument for is impeachment for perjury. They lied. That could be grounds for impeachment. Yeah, that could be grounds for impeachment. Exactly, Carpet Packs. We have to abolish the Senate, the Electoral College, and change to ranked choice voting or some type of parliamentary system, some type of more democratic system. Expand our ability to have a better democratic system, to have a third party to be viable. Yes, all that has to happen. I agree. Throughout American history, the leading parties have changed multiple times. They just haven't changed in 100 years, which is why the system is stale. Good point. Is it against the Constitution for the Supreme Court members to be politically biased? I don't think so. Oh yeah, we still have this one. This is another big one that we need to watch. By the way, I've been talking about this since for a while now. This is another huge one too, folks. So eyes open. It's not over. Okay. It's not over. Sadly, Dems and Republicans going away. I would love to see 20 political parties, but Green, Socialist, Communist barely get any % of any ballot and federally unlikely. Yeah, but here's the cool thing about a more representative parliamentary system, right? Those would get representation, even if it's 1%, 7%, or 20%. Those folks would have actual voices. Then you have a dictatorship. Ha! Now you're getting it. Now you're getting it. The Founding Fathers did not plan on partisanship. No, in fact, they were adamantly against it. Specifically, I believe, specifically George Washington warned against this type of stuff. Yeah. Anyways, so I think that this is also what Fu Manchu brings up. Is the next big one, to be honest. Folks, if you haven't already, please, I don't know if I shouted out earlier, please check out twitch.tv/carpetpacks, twitch.tv/AlioShare. This is why I say it's unconstitutional. I mean, like, no, yes, but no, but yes, but no. There's no, like, technical law under that, which is the problem, right? Not to freak anyone out, but there's still cases to come, including one that could shake the power of the federal government to its core. It's called West Virginia versus EPA, and the most extreme ruling would declare that Congress lacks the power to delegate authority to federal agencies to implement policy. Under existing law, Congress may delegate its regulatory powers to an administrative agency, but it must provide an intelligible principle or a standard by which the agency must exercise its quasi-legislative powers. Agencies have traditionally met these standards with ease, but recently conservative courts have resurrected the non-delegation doctrine to strike down any acts by agencies that would have easily passed muster before. If applied in a draconian manner, the non-delegation doctrine could end federal government as we know it. If the court actually went so far, as Justin Kagan said in a case in 2019, if the defendant's delegation is unconstitutional, then most of government is unconstitutional. Kagan was writing for the plurality of four liberals, joined by Justice Alito, in a concurrence that has always bothered me. If a majority of this court were willing to reconsider the approach we have taken for the past 84 years, I would support that effort, he wrote, teasing the idea of non-delegation to his fellow conservatives. But because a majority is not willing to do that, it would be freakish to single out the provision at issue here for special treatment. Since then, two more conservatives, Kavanaugh and Barrett, were added to the court. Where they stand is unclear. Kavanaugh has not been seated at the time of oral arguments in that case, so he couldn't vote. Prior to these recent extremist decisions on gun regulation and abortion, I would bet that the SCOTUS would dare a seismic shakeup between other branches of government using the non-delegation doctrine. But it's certainly unusual that it released Dobbs first. A momentous decision usually gets announced last in a typical SCOTUS calendar. That's why I'm a bit nervous. What is the court planning with the EPA decision? I don't know how I don't know how do I say deep that's gonna go. I don't know how deep that's gonna go, but the thing that scares me is the fact that if the Supreme Court decides that the federal government that regulatory agencies such as the EPA actually don't have the regulatory powers, then a whole bunch of things are going to there's going to be a whole bunch of domino effects, because then one could start asking, like, well, if the EPA has no power of regulatory capabilities, what about the NLRB? What about, as I believe Carpet Packs said, what about all the labor protections that are supposedly that are supposed to be under the NLRB? What about the SEC? Do they have regulatory power now? Is it just going to be a free-for-all? Hey, Rai, how's it going? What about OSHA? Exactly. What about OSHA? Do they have regulatory power for health, for workplace security? Who knows? Any reforms will also be struck down by the Supreme Court due to its erosion. On top of that, it's the very first court in history to roll back civil rights instead of expanding them. That's right. And it's not going to stop. Never has there been a Supreme Court that rolls back civil rights. Yeah. They need an apparatus that works for them directly, not one for lip service. That's true. So to my answer is Alio with the 7 biddies. Thank you so much. My advice is get to know your neighbors. Get to know your neighbors. Build close, tight-knit communities. Start sharing information. Because it's gonna get wild. Because it's gonna get wild. Abortion rights protesters, including Full House actress Jodie Sweetin, were shoved to the ground by police officers during a demonstration in LA. Demonstrators across the U.S. took the streets over the weekend after the Supreme Court revoked the nationwide right to abortion, leading abortion to immediately become illegal in states with so-called trigger laws on the books. Video footage on social media appeared to show members of the LAPD roughly pushing, throwing, and hitting protesters with hands. And just another casual day. Like I posted this one on Twitter. Here, hold on, let me see if I can bring this up. There are two ways around this. Two ways around some shit I see. Expand the court would vote in progressives into districts to codify abortion rights into as many states as possible. True. Fight for that change, but to be that change, leave Dems out of the dry and vote harder to push progressive candidates. Yes, where possible. And, just, folks, Do not expect the Democratic Party to come and save you. Just make sure that you eliminate the GOP. Okay, that's the goal. Okay, the GOP needs to be obliterated from power. Okay, that should be that should be one of the ways to stop this. All I'm saying is SCOTUS appointments are for a lifetime. No one can say how long an individual lifetime will last. Well, I mean, that's true. That's part of the problem, isn't it? I'm thinking of walking away from politics. I'm angry all the time and I'm tired. Hambless, I would not blame you, is what I'm saying. I would not blame you, is what I'm saying. So we let people die while we wait for a failed system to work properly. No. You can simultaneously say, do not leave this tool on the table, while also, exactly, from the people. It'll come from the people. Get to know your neighbors. Mutual aid. Figure out where your there's like a network of aunties. That are building a network across the country to help people. Okay? All these things are around you. There are resources. There are mutual aid groups that are trying. If I ever gave up, I would be really... I'm disabled, and if I ever gave up, I would be really depressed, and I could not... it would not help either. That's a good point. There's no escaping the structures in place. I get it, but sometimes, like... I'm just trying to say that I understand. If they, as you, if want to Republicans to win, turn the question back on them and kiss your district goodbye. Exactly. Like, all you can do is just try. And if they ask if you want Republicans to win, turn the question back on them. Exactly. Like, listen. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, you can try to do that. But the end game, or at least in the immediate, should be to remove the Republican Party, obliterated it out of existence. I would rather be in a world where I have to fight the Dems than have to wake up to more and more rights being slowly eroded. I want to live in a world where I would rather I would rather fight the Dems than to watch this. Unlike climate change, this can be reversed. Yes. It is amazing to me how quick and how equipped it is amazing how quickly and how well equipped these folks, Capitol Police, managed to be when hearing of protests for the right to bodily autonomy. It is actually amazing how prepared and quickly Capitol Police was to deploy when protests were planned for the right to bodily autonomy. But God forbid, for weeks on end, we saw, and we all knew, the possibility for violence on January 6th was very high. In fact, for those of you that were here, we were watching it live. Nowhere to be found. The ball was dropped. Numerous intelligence failures. All of a sudden, we've got incompetent Capitol Police. But when it comes to protesting the right to bodily autonomy, oh man, are they ready. Man, are they ready. And just what are we supposed to do? Direct action is great, help your neighbors, but these chuds are beyond reason. I will no longer believe in compromise until we have Dems, libs, or leftists in office who are willing to act. We could have reformed the court and avoided this. We could eject Manchin and Susan Collins from parties. Well, Susan Collins is a Republican, isn't she? We should have some guts. We should show some guts. They know that these protesters don't plant pipe bombs, nor do they open or conceal carry. That really looks like the police are working for us. It's time for my tax dollars to stop funding the police. The heat waves are ridiculous. Yes, that's true. Yeah, my ideal scenario would be to have a my ideal scenario is to live in a world where I would have to fight the Democratic Party. Sure. Yeah. I would rather be in a position where I need to yell at the Democratic Party than I would waking up to this shit. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Like we've got to have some, like, you know, we've got to be able to just live in the situation that we are in and deal with it as we can. Like, that's all we can do. I need to lurk. I cannot be angry and radicalized on this topic. It is time to organize and actually fight for change. Viva la revolución. It's time for special candles and bagel slicers. The political system is going exactly as planned. It's causing a divide among the regular people, split on issues that should have been settled decades ago, all while executives are making record profits, inequality at an all-time high, and then even more so than before the French Revolution. We're all being played like puppets. Kind of. I appreciate you lurking, Mayhem Hippie. Rudy Giuliani brutally assaulted by a touch on the back. Oh, Kirsten Cinema. Gotcha. You can send that to me. Via whispers. Yeah, brutally assaulted by a pat on the back. Let's see. Can you send that to us? Or, either me or the, mods. Okay, I got it. Hold on. Let's watch damning evidence of Rudy Giuliani being brutally assaulted. Oh my god. I don't know if I could show this. This might be TOS. I'll take a risk, okay? Here is Rudy Giuliani being brutally assaulted, guys. Check. This is Rudy in the middle right there. Watch the camera. Watch the CCTV footage, okay? Watch the brutal assault as it... Oh my god. Oh my god, look. Immediately, she came out and helped him. God, I hope he's okay. We would need to change corporate media so people could see and recognize us. Yeah, I mean, that's what we all should be doing, right? I mean, that's our job. Yeah? Hi. Little known fact, Rudy Giuliani is planning to become a soccer player. He's practicing. Is it worse than when he was when he was assaulted by his hairdryer? No, I know. I'm clowning on this guy. On a side note, Lupe Fiasco released a new project and it's so effing good. Slept on hard by the music industry, but the messages aren't so on point for today's times. Here's the intro poem, which defines what the album is about. Fantastic listen for new fans and old alike. I'm sorry, I do not want to get Carlos popped for TOS. I'm angry. You should be. I did not see a positive way forward, and that does not include violence. You see the cops being armed when most protests are peaceful. I am not hopeless, but with this overturning along with other things, this code has done in the past has radicalized me. I don't blame you. Is what I'm trying to say. We just deal with it as we are here, in the now. Please listen to music that heals you. True. The only reason I wouldn't play this is because of, what is this, DMCA? But, there is the link, folks. Anyways, I've been self-medicating on this album all weekend. Rest up, there'll be another time. Oh yeah, no, folks, this is just the beginning. I'm starting to organize an event today. Nice! You see, that kind of stuff right there these are options that are available to you, folks. Get to know your neighbors. Get to know. Build tight-knit communities. It being the beginning is just scary. Also, our town's progressive started a group yesterday to start a meeting and being involved. Yes, get involved. Yes. Yes. Do you all think that this is the end? No. This is just the beginning. And I'm not saying this as I'm not catastrophizing this. Not everything is an apocalyptic event. No, this kind of is. This is not hyperbole. Right, this is not a hyperbolic situation. This is not the this is not the time to like joke when it comes to hyperbole, because usually I don't like to engage in hyperbole. This is not hyperbolic. This is not hyperbolic. Here we have the South Dakota Republican governor saying that she will ban abortion pills prescribed online. They want to get involved in your personal medical decisions. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, a Republican, conservative, fundamentalist, on Sunday said that she will ban telemedicine appointments with abortion care providers who prescribe pills online in GOP-controlled state in the wake of the Supreme Court's decision. They're not going to stop. I never said it wasn't reversible. That's the thing. I never said it wasn't. I'm saying we need to stop this shit now. Noem told host Margaret Brennan on CBS's Face the Nation that she brought a bill forward in her state to ban the telemedicine appointments in order to block women from being prescribed abortion pills online and receiving them through mail. These are very dangerous medical procedures. Shut the fuck up. Dangerous medical procedure. Fuck off. thus not apocalyptic. No, I don't think you understand the ramifications of what this means, my friend. I don't know. It's a pretty big deal when you exclude the rights over half the population in this country. Yeah, I don't like the domino effects of this are massive. But what is the likelihood of it being reversed when they never did anything to prevent it? Well, that depends on how, how far this goes. I do very well know the whole shittery of 4 abortion rights in the U.S. Yeah, okay, so here's the problem, right? It is to be taken as a apocalyptic event. It is to be taken as a code red, all hands on deck. This needs to be addressed. Now. This is not a, well, it's actually really not. If you really think about it, nah, fuck that. No. No. We don't believe it should be available because it is a dangerous situation for an individual without being medically supervised by a physician. Who do you think is giving them the abortion pills? Physicians. The Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade on Friday, punting the future of abortion rights back to the states to decide whether they want to ban abortion procedures or tighten restrictions. South Dakota passed a trigger law that went into effect immediately after Roe was overturned. The state law bans abortion except in the case of saving a mother's life. So no exception for rape and incest. Wonder why? That's kind of telling. You can't address the code red when you're done fucked up. You need to start over by taking over the states. You can't do shit with the Supreme Court. Okay. So you're saying to get involved with local politics? With your state, local politics? Yeah. 100%. I'm not against that. Yeah. So no exception for rape or incest, which is very telling. Republicans are pretty much telling on themselves. And makes it a felony to perform the procedure. Again, the end goal is to take away as many rights as possible, because if you're a felon, you can't vote. Since the FDA has approved abortion pills, mifepristone and misoprostol, a legal fight is likely to ensue between the GOP states pushing to restrict access to the pills and federal government under the Biden administration. Right, because of what Mayhem Hippie just said. The Constitution does not give a woman the right to an abortion. The power to make decisions really go to each individual state. Yeah, go fuck yourself. You're completely correct, especially for POC. Some of the people who will need these pills. Yep. Breaking, the Supreme Court sides with the religious football coach. Which case was that? Hold on, because there's a few that are going to be released today too. Hold on. SCOTUS blog. Okay. Let's see. Hey Joltium, how's it going? 13 states have full abortion bans, another 10 are voting on it, and likely pass half the effing US. Yep. This is kind of piggybacking off the idea, the decision that they made earlier about allowing tax dollars to fund private religious schools. Here we have the Supreme Court deciding that in a 6-3 ruling, SCOTUS says that the public school violated the coach's free speech and free exercise rights when it barred him from praying on the field after games. Bro, if you want to be a religious person, take that shit outside. Take that shit outside. Okay? If you want to believe in whatever you want to believe in, take that shit out of public schools. The Republican Party will do anything that is politically expedient. They have no real ideology except that what works for what works. That's why they're so effective, and they need to be a bunch of sociopaths. Do these look like private personal prayers to you, or does it look like the government employee abusing his power and influence to coerce kids into praying? Right. Absolutely. Get your religious garbage out of public schools. Okay, this is like hundreds of pages. Or 75 pages, sorry. The other one was massive. If you want to see the reasoning behind it. After offering a quiet personal prayer? Wait. What? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a very private and quiet personal prayer. Do these people think that cameras don't exist? Do these people think that, like, the internet doesn't exist where we have evidence posted to us plain as day? Human rights are not something that should be decided by regional governments. True, they should be codified in nations' founding documents. You would think, Maple Leaf Dragon, but here we are. Literally lying, in the opinion. Too bad it means little to nothing. Yeah, I mean, these assholes literally lied in their confirmation hearings about Roe v. Wade. They literally lied to Congress's or the Senate's face. They literally lied. They perjured themselves. They literally perjured themselves in their confirmation hearings. Those three? Absolutely. Sotomayor caught it and called it out in her dissent. Too bad it means little to nothing. True. Human rights are non-binding and merely international charters. There's no executive body to enforce them, so it can't be codified. Yeah, it's more like it's more like the government's role should be to enshrine that, right? Ideally, in an ideal scenario, a government's role, one of them, would be to enshrine your rights. Ideally. But they don't care. There's tons of proof. They really believe in their head that they are right. It's an illness that's killing us all. Yeah, this is religious fundamentalism. This is conservatism. This needs to go. I'm not joking, folks. This needs to go. The Republican Party, the religious fundamentalists, need to be removed from power. Okay, they cannot win elections anymore. Like, we have to do whatever we can to show up in so much numbers that they never win elections again. They need to be blown out of the water. This is a direct result of Republicans winning elections. That's it. This is a direct result of conservatism winning power. That's it. This is conservatism, folks. Do you want more of this? We will now live under Catholic rule again. Remind me why people created America. Damn, but don't say that, Renardus. Don't say that. Don't say that. That's right. It's not just the Supreme Court. It's the federal district courts too. Yes. I'm telling you, folks. I understand that there is a direct. There is an axe to grind with the Democratic Party. I get it, and you should be angry at them. I'm just saying that I'd rather be fighting them. This needs to go. This cannot continue to win elections. This ideology, this rot needs to be stopped. Forced pregnancy, a commentary on the crime in international law. Forced pregnancy is a serious violation of sexual and reproductive rights and autonomy, which can cause severe physical and psychological harm and often has lasting personal, social, and economic consequences. Yeah, no kidding. In 1998, the Rome Statute of International Criminal Court, the ICC, became the first international instrument to expressly list forced pregnancy as a crime against humanity and a war crime. Well, hey, let's just add that one to our list. Not like we give a shit. Naughty Grandma, thank you for the follow. It's an erosion of legitimacy of institutions. January 6th seemed trivial in comparison to this. No, I think that is its own thing. Yeah. But the U.S. is not under the jurisdiction of ICC. No, this is an opinion by the ICC. How do they define a forced abortion versus abortion ban? Because if you have no other options, then that's kind of coercive, right? That's kind of forced. It's like saying, oh, you mean the opinion document? How do they define it? Oh. Amnesty International has prepared this commentary. It's just a commentary on the crime of forced pregnancy as defined in the ICC as part of its ongoing work to promote sexual and reproductive rights and effective remedies for victims/survivors. Amnesty International global movement of more than 70 million. Okay. This is an opinion piece. Acknowledgements. Okay. What I need, introduction. Forced pregnancy is a serious violation of physical and Amnesty International prepared this commentary to crime on the crime of common analysis of crime to human rights. Legal source. ICC was the first binding international instrument to recognize forced pregnancy as a crime under the international law. Specifically, the statute lists forced pregnancy as a crime against humanity when committed as part of a widespread systematic attack against the civilian population, as a war crime when committed by an international or non-international armed conflict. The term forced pregnancy is defined in Article... hold on. There we go. Article 7 to mean the unlawful confinement of a woman forcibly made pregnant with the intent of affecting the ethnic composition of any population and carrying out their other grave violations of... What? Of international law. Gotcha. This definition shall not in any way be interpreted as laws as affecting national law relating to pregnancy. Yeah, abortion bans will not fall under the ICC rulings. This relates to population control. An abortion ban is forced pregnancy and being forced to carry to term. Right. Happy to have found you. Thank you. Yeah, I think this is since 1998, more than 120 states have ratified the ICC statute, thereby accepting its crime against humanity. Blah, 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 perpetrator, crime against humanity. Yeah, I think this is actually leaning on the side of I think this is leaning on the side of like just another way of saying genocide bad. That goes back to the original video that Carpet Packs posted. Yeah, so, well, anyways, forced pregnancy is coercive, yes. Everyone knows capitalism needs an ever-increasing supply of labor and consumers, otherwise the system fails apart because we're holding it up ourselves. That's a good point. I think Mayhem Hippie brought something like that up to the table. Baizu Sepos. Huh. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. That is right. At what point do we draw the line? Have you ever had to sit and make the decision of terminating a pregnancy? No. That's why I do not ever want anybody to tell you that you can and cannot do that. I've never had to feel that. I don't want to ever have to feel that. I don't want anybody to ever have to feel that such a decision that's already in and of itself a massive decision to be criminalized. What happens if it comes between my life and an unborn child? Should I have to sacrifice my life for an unborn child? What about my existing children? Who's going to care for them? Those are very valid questions, Mayhem Hippie. Except Republicans and conservatives do not give a shit about you. They do not give a shit about you. They don't see you as a person. Conservatives do not give a shit about you. They do not see you as a person. So, cute Bumblebee. Howdy. I am a single mother by definition. I have sole custody of both of my children. Yeah, they don't give a shit about you, Mayhem Hippie. You'll have quite a lot of dead moms because doctors are going to be too afraid to abort a baby in case there's a risk of a woman dying. And not only that, yeah, they're going to risk, yeah, exactly. So all of this is just on the presupposition that women are people, which they don't. Am I allowed to be here? I don't know. Are you? They won't risk jail for that. This happened where I live and the mother died on the table. Yep. Direct result of conservatism. Direct result of conservatism. That's all that you can thank the GOP for that, Rye. So much about caring for the children, you know, the alive ones. Yeah, they don't give a shit about that either. It's all about telling you what to do. When I was 7, my very abusive father to me and my mother, for TOS purposes, and you know what, F it, this is an important story. When I was 7, my very abusive father to me and my mother raped my mother and got her pregnant. She decided to abort the pregnancy so she could escape the marriage and only have me and my sister to care for. I don't blame her at all, and I'm proud of her for getting us out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's nothing pro-life about them. Correct. Nothing pro-life about them. These stories should be played 24/7 on the mainstream news stations. Human stories, not just stats. That's true. These are real people. These are real people that are going to be affected directly by Republicans winning elections. This is solely on the Republican Party, okay? And what I mean by solely is that they're the ones who decided to do this, okay? Because they're the ones that won the elections that led up to this, okay? That's it. I'm actually getting married, so just have some legal protections in the coming days. We decided to make our hand fasting a real marriage this past weekend. Well, congratulations, Mayhem Hippie. Honestly, I just hope you do, you know, you have what you need and do what you can. This is on the Republicans and Trump administration. And no, it's not just on Trump. It's on the sole idea of Republicans winning elections entirely is what led to this. I don't think the burn your bus people are really a big of a factor. I'm not gonna I don't subscribe to that idea. I don't know if there's so many of them that it would have changed the election. I don't think so. I think really Hillary was just such a bad candidate that she had no problem losing on her own. That's a separate issue. That's a separate issue. Bernie or Bus literally advocated for and ran campaigns on not voting for Hillary. Yeah, sure. But I don't know if, like, that's, if that was, like, a massive thing. So much so that it created a changing of the election, right? I just don't think that that's productive. And I don't think that the numbers add up either. I don't think that the numbers add up either. 52% of eligible 52% of eligible voters did not vote in 2016. Bernie campaigned for Hillary. 91% of people who voted for Bernie also voted for Hillary. Hillary failed to campaign in multiple swing states, and she lost to the dumbest candidate in modern history. Yeah. Like I said, I think that just the numbers don't add up. %10 can make a huge difference. How many of them were Bernie? Like you're having the perception that the Bernie people were so massive, that they were so huge that they had an outcome in the election. It just doesn't make sense on its surface. It just doesn't make sense on its surface. Honestly, Hillary wasn't a great candidate, okay? She had no problems losing on her own. I didn't say they were massive. I said they bear partial fart foot. Well, I mean, like, then by that definition, we all do. Like, okay. But if Hillary had won, MAGA would be in a baby stage. Yeah, maybe it would have been diffused then. I don't know. I don't know. 9% of people not voting for Hillary did not swing the election. If there were 9% of eligible voters, then you might have a point. No, if you advocated for not voting at all. No, I did not advocate for not voting. Abstaining from votes helped Republicans win votes. Apathy helped Trump. Yeah, but why was that apathy there? Oh, we can argue about this ad nauseum, but why was there apathy? Was it possibly because maybe Hillary wasn't exactly an exciting candidate? Right, apathy is not the root cause. That's exactly why I'm asking why. Hillary said the Democrats should stop supporting my rights to... So F her? What? What are you talking about? Hillary had no problems losing, like, on her own. I don't think you, like, Bernie Sanders did a monumental job, effort to try to campaign for her. And he got his movement behind her. The Dems forcing Hillary, who was already hated by most of the country, regardless if it was warranted or not. She was a shite candidate. Yeah. Hillary was a terrible candidate for so many reasons. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She had no problems losing on her own. That's my argument. I'm not trying to assign blame or trying to divide divide in a time where we don't really need to be arguing this. Yes, I understand, right? I understand. Yes, I understand. But people didn't have that perception, okay? Yes, I understand. Because you are probably more in tune with politics like we are, okay? You're in a group of people who understand politics. Yes, I understand what you're saying. I'm saying that the majority of people didn't perceive that. I get you. Hillary ran a weak campaign, but is Bernie running for president? Trump should not have won, but Trump would still say it's a rigged election. Well, yeah, he would say it's a rigged election if he lost, yes. People have a memory of a goldfish. Bernie or busters ran on this shit. There was a few of them, yes. It's okay to force people to vote for a candidate, but they did not want in order to save democracy. What is that doing to move us forward now? That's my point. Trump was ready to say in 2016 that it was rigged and he won. Yeah, of course. You've had a literal far-right populist coup in your country and you're arguing whether to blame the leftists who didn't want to vote for neoliberals and a terrible candidate, just calling it how I see it. Yeah, like, listen, I'm not one to, I can't sit here and vote shame people. There's people who would argue that you should be doing that. But what I am saying is that we are treading some dangerous territory. We're treading dangerous territory, and I think that it is important to realize where we're at, and this is no time for that. This is not the time for that. This is definitely not the time for that. She's out there advocating for change. No, yeah, she's not on any of this. She's nowhere to be found. Yeah. Let me go back up here. Cute Bumblebee. Yeah. She made some cringe ass freaking comments. Ugh. Nobody gives a shit about Hillary. The point was anti-Hillary vote propelled Trump into compromising the Supreme Court. And I'm disputing, like, the numbers. I'm just disputing the numbers. That's it. Lesser of two evils should have been the cue to jump overboard on either political parties, yet here we are. I don't know. Everything is a battle between two evils, right? If Bernie would have been the candidate against Donald Trump, would that not be voting against the lesser of two evils? Madame Defarge coming in hot with a tier 1 sub for 18 months. Howdy. Democracy and the electoral policy is about the lesser evils. Do you want to blame Bernie or bust? That's fine. I went out and voted for Hillary. Despite my better judgment, you cannot say for us to advocate for change and then condemn us for being that change. Yeah. I'm not. Bernie isn't evil. No, I'm not saying that Bernie is evil. I'm saying that we were always going to choose the best option of the points. But that's the point. It's rigged. Sure. Bernie was never going to be a primary. That's the point. It was rigged. Sure, you can blame the DNC for that too. Sure. There's some shenanigans. Sure. Okay. The process is broken and needs to be torn down. It wasn't illegal, just unethical. Yep. Can we have a fluffy video and then move on to something else that matters? Oh no, this all matters because this is all how we're basically hashing out how we got here. It's what really is happening here. Sometimes this kind of needs to happen. No, I'm not saying it was election fraud. I'm saying it was shenanigans. Ethics tie morally more than that. Yes, that's true, Fu Man. I really do like Bernie, but will he be president? Unlikely. Well, not anymore. I don't mean it's illegal, I mean it's unethical, and it's a sign that we need to change everything up. Agreed. Okay. Yeah. Bernie's not going to win a third party. I doubt it. No, Bernie's not going to run. I don't think so. He should. In my opinion, no. No. He's not going to run. It doesn't hurt to try. No. We're not in a situation for that. The root of the problem is not even the political parties or the courts. The problem is that the fact that billionaires can effectively buy elections because of corporatization of media and the press, and the fact that the average person has lost the ability to critically think due to an information overload. Damn, that's a very good point too. Can we discuss a Beto Bernie ticket leading up to charge? I don't care if he does. I'm past that option. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna run. Hillary ran with a pro-life candidate in 2016. She continued to bash Obama after losing the primary. Seeing people claim that she would have saved us from the current situation is laughable. Now, it's not about saving. Like, okay, so I made this comment yesterday or the day before, or I actually make this comment very frequently. Do not expect a Democratic Party to save you or a Democratic candidate to save you, okay? Go into that with that expectation. A political party is not here to save you. A political actor, like a president, a politician, they're not here to save you. They're not here to save you, or I should say, you shouldn't have the expectation that a political party is going to come here and save you. So we either pick a new party to back or continue voting in liberals with progressive talking points. We do what we need to do to stop Republicans from winning elections. That's what I would expect from a party that funds pro-life and NRA-backed candidates or progressives to save us. I like Beto, and also will he be nominated by the DNC? I don't think he's gonna run, or maybe he will. I don't know. He's young. I don't know. So either we pick a new party to back. I would love that we focus on avenues where we can actually have some kind of groundwork, spread it forward. If I may, what I would advise is in terms of electoralism, because again, electoralism is just merely but a tool, right? That's it. Please do not think that, again, that a political party is going to save you. Please do not think that a political candidate is going to save you. They are not. But it is a tool. And I if I may, I would say that please focus on your local stuff, local and state elections, and push from the ground up. Push from the ground up. Those small city council elections cascade and ripple into other things. We need a more grand picture and framework to work off, though. That is the grand picture. Setting up a solid what is it? Not a solid resume of W's. Is great. Is the way to go. We need to we use them for your agenda, and they're not cult personalities. Yeah, exactly. Doing local things without a unifying underlying idea will not help us in the long run. We need local projects that use this grand scheme, a progressive framework. Yeah, a progressive framework. That's exactly it. Which generally, in my opinion, should include things. I've kind of hammered this and laid this out. It's the whole basis of my 4 pillars, right? We need to run on a platform framework, whatever, on food, housing, education, and healthcare. Do that. Do with that what you will. Do with that what you will. Create a framework that has, in my opinion, because I think that's a pretty solid progressive outliner that is simple, memorable, and freaking works. If the Dems stop giving me people to vote against, instead giving me people to vote for, I would be so happy. Agreed. That's also another avenue. It's a long shot, but it's one of the ways. Yes, build up progressive candidates that will vote and codify shit into law. Sure. That's another. Yes, all of these things. I'm only speaking on the electoralism aspect of this, right? That's it. I'm not speaking about anything else. I'm only speaking about that aspect. We need a new Kennedy of our time, somebody that is progressive and liked by the micro parties and has the capability of being nominated by the DNC. Suspicious notes. Howdy. How is everyone? Horrifying. I agree. But that's a simple problem of the Democratic Party, right? That's exactly why you should be angry at them. Sure. I'm just saying, do not keep your eyes off the prize, okay? Do not keep your do not keep your ire away from the actual root cause of these policies that are being in place. This did not happen by magic. Okay? Whether we like it or not, we need a viable federal DNC candidate for 2024. If they shove Biden or Hillary at me, I will riot. Hey, I have some bad news for you, Mayhem. It's hard to be liked when you're teaching men are capable of having children like women. Go fuck yourself. You want to get banned that fast? It's one of those, spread it forward. It's one of those easy, collectors for 2020 candidates that you'll see in any member of the squad. Far from perfect, but at the very least, they're trying to do some good shit. True. Technically, she could run, from what I understand. Technically, she could run. Hello, can anybody hear me? What does that mean? Someone who's been banned for an umpteenth amount of channels. No, I know the answer. There is not one. That's why that is scary and terrified. I'll do my duty and vote for the lesser evil, just not Trump. Oh. What's thought about why you do this? I don't know. Why do you get banned for like 10,000 channels? Minimum age requirements for presidential candidate is 35. I think that when they take office is when they have to be 35 or something like that. I'll have to check. But to my understanding, she would be eligible. There we go. You have to be 35 by the time you swear in. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. All right, so listen, folks. We're getting too much into the weeds of electoralism, okay? It's good that we have these arguments, and it's good that we hash this out. But I just don't want people to lose the idea. I just don't want people to lose the idea that all of this. Oh, hold on. I owe Naughty Grandma a dab. Hold on. Maybe I'll do this one here. There we go. Much better. So it's good that we hash this out and have arguments about this, but the reality is, do not lose the idea that all of this is a direct result of conservatism winning elections. That's it. That's it. I do not want people to lose that thought. Okay? Yeah, we're backed into a corner, and it has become a system of voting, voting for just not that guy. Which, yeah, spread it forward, rightfully said. That's not a good thing. That's not a good sign. That's a sign of a problematic system that isn't functioning. I agree with you. But yeah, just don't lose that thought. That all of this is what happens when Republicans win elections. Okay? That's it. Rudy Giuliani and his soccer injuries. True. Okay. So I've got a couple of things. Because we don't have that much time, but I've got to make sure that we cover everything. Devil Dog, howdy. We gotta rush through this. Okay. Folks, this month's sponsor is Factor. Factor is a company that was bought by HelloFresh. And we use HelloFresh. So hey, why not? Why not be a shill? Get fresh, ready-made meals delivered to you non-stop to your doorstep when you sign up with Factor. Sorry, doorstep. Factor's chef-created meals are fresh, never frozen, designed by dietitians to ensure every meal is packed with premium, science-backed nutritional quality. No more meal prep, no more dishes, no more unhealthy fast food. Factor offers the most convenient way to eat well while eating right. They do offer vegan and vegetarian options. Factor's menus are updated weekly to include 27 plus meals, 34 plus add-on options. Choose your favorite meals or let us craft your order based on your taste preference and meal history. Hit !Factor for $120 off when you use code Factor SE1962 and you get to support the channel, alright? Also, another way to support the channel is just to hit that follow button, alright? Just hit the follow button, you get 5 free emotes. Join the Discord to keep up with the channel. Head on over to our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button, alright? And the best thing that you can do is to spread the word far and wide that this is the chillest place to be for news and politics Monday through Thursday. Join us Saturdays for Saturday Catterdays. Yeah? Thank you. I counted that wrong, but I think she should wait until she's 40. Oh, yeah. I think that technically, yeah, she could. Long time no see, that's true. How's it going, friend? Buff Dragon, howdy. Chances are, if you live in a country with large state apparatus that uses capitalism, it's likely hijacked your government and uses the government as a scapegoat. The real problem is capitalism, folks. Definitely, at the one of the issues here that perpetuates this problem is, yes, capitalism. The other face of that coin is religious fundamentalism. Yep. And Rye just gave me the other side of the coin.
Could Brazil's next president be more environmentally conscious? And which oil and gas fields are the most carbon intense in the world? Welcome to the Climate Recap from the Beckosphere Climate Corner, your go-to place for international and US-based climate news. I'm Becky Hogue, a science writer. Today is Monday, June 27th. Let's jump right into the news you need to start your day. Let's start with some extreme weather events. New Zealand is seeing its largest sea sponge bleaching event on record due to extreme ocean temperatures.
Yikes. Also, subscribe to this channel, okay? Subscribe to this channel. Let's get those sub numbers up, yeah?
Last month, scientists observed sea sponge bleaching along the country's southern coast for the first time. It's drastically escalated. Like with coral, bleaching doesn't mean the sponges are dead, but that the algae it has a symbiotic relationship with has been expelled. This means the sponges are more at risk of starving or catching a disease. Not all species die from bleaching, but many do. New Zealand saw its longest and hottest heat wave since measurements began in 1981 recently. In Europe, Italy's drought is just getting worse, and many cities have declared a state of emergency because of it, looking to free up funds to deal with their water crises. Hot temperatures, which have reached around 104 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees Celsius recently, aren't letting up anytime soon. Agricultural yield is expected to plunge this year. Italy's largest river, Po, is experiencing its worst drought in 70 years, and it satiates about a third of the country's agricultural production. In the U.S. on Wednesday, the U.S. Southwest reached 100 to 106 degrees Fahrenheit or 37.7 to 41 degrees Celsius on Wednesday and Thursday. More than a dozen cities hit new records for this time of year, like Memphis, Tennessee, that hit 102 degrees Fahrenheit or 38.9 degrees Celsius, and Macon, Georgia, that hit 105 degrees Fahrenheit or 40.6 degrees Celsius. Keep in mind, it's quite humid in those areas, which makes the heat more deadly. This heat is part of a larger heat wave that has stayed in the lower 48 states over the past 2 weeks. It looks like the heat wave finally began loosening up this weekend, though. Speaking of this heat, there's a new product on the market called the Climate Shift Index, created by the nonprofit research and journalism organization Climate Central. It indicates in real time how much climate change has altered the frequency of daily temperatures in a particular location anywhere in the continental U.S. It provides interactive maps and 3-day forecasts to help the public visualize how climate change is impacting the world around them. In other news, Lake Mead, which provides water to California, Arizona, Nevada, and parts of Mexico, hit a new record low last week. It's the lowest it's been since the lake was first filled in the 1930s, and is now only 150 feet away from hitting dead pool level, which is when the reservoir is so low that water cannot flow downstream from the dam. Granted, this is unlikely to happen this year, but if these dry conditions sustain for several years, it could definitely happen. And Alaska has hit a new wildfire record for June thanks to particularly hot, dry weather. More than 1 million acres or over 400,000 hectares have burned, which is the earliest date on record that the state has reached this milestone. More than 300 fires have raged in the past few weeks, and more than 100 of them are still burning. The largest is the East Fork Fire, which has burned over 165,000 acres, or around 67,000 hectares, making it the 5th largest tundra fire in the state's history. It has forced some indigenous people off their land, particularly people with respiratory issues. There's been 2.5 times more acres burned between 2001 and 2020 in the Alaskan tundra than were burned during the previous 2 decades, according to the International Arctic Research Center. And this is mainly due to climate change.
Yeah, that now we have to correct. Climate change is like a big gray cloud road. Yeah, that's the little What? This is just divorced from. Hey, can you provide a source? Listen, I'm not dealing with this today. Can you provide a source from that? You got literally 5 seconds. Yeah, I know, Rye. It's ominous feeling of unpreparedness and a creeping disaster others willfully ignore, leading into more worry. Yep. This is completely divorced from the consensus of science. Can you provide a source for that? Literally, you got 5 seconds. Come on. That's divorced from reality in any way, shape, or form. Can you provide a source? Come on. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. Come on. No. I need you to... I didn't ask you to call in. I asked you to provide a source. Whisper me. Whisper me a source. Let's go. If I had more time, I would let this person call in, but I don't have time for this. I know they don't. Yeah, they just felt that way today. No? No source? Damn. Hello? Excellent. All right, cool. Don't need to hear it.
drying out and heating up the area. Unfortunately, more extreme heat is expected this week.
Yeah,
Now for
I
our
admit
climate
I have
study.
no proof, but I'm
The
just going
journal
to believe it
Science just
anyways.
published a special edition called Our Climate Future, which contains articles diving into different
Magnetic field theories from the 1930s. Sheesh.
aspects of climate mitigation and adaptation. It starts with a statement by several scientists called Time to Act, which lays out that it has simply been politics and finance that have kept humanity from solving this problem, not a lack of technologies or studies. Some of the articles in this edition include Can Biofuels Really Fly?, How Trade Policy Can Support the Climate Agenda, and Climate Change and the Urgency to Transition Food Systems. All right, let's hear some climate victories. Brazil's former president, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, who was in office from 2003 to 2010, is running for president against the current one, Jair Bolsonaro. Specifically, Lula, a leftist, is running on a platform of reducing deforestation and poverty. He already has a 16-point lead over Bolsonaro ahead of the October 2nd election. Lula wants to reach net zero deforestation by the end of his 4-year term if elected, which means he plans to fight illegal deforestation and restore degraded areas. This would likely produce a ton of jobs. However, old-growth trees take up way more CO2 from the atmosphere, are more fire-resilient, and are the backbone of forests. So replanting trees is not a fair trade for continuing deforestation, which is what he means by net zero deforestation. It's not yet obvious if Lula understands or plans to recognize this distinction formally, and this could mean the difference between decent policy and great policy. Either way, his plans are very likely to be better than Bolsonaro, who has continuously slashed environmental protection in favor of big agriculture. Over in the US, Rhode Island's making headway on its clean energy policy. Its House and Senate recently approved far-reaching climate legislation that, if approved, would require the state's utilities to buy enough renewable energy to offset their electricity generated by gas and petroleum by 2033. This would be the most ambitious timeline in the country, and the governor is expected to sign the bill into law. Now, this might not be as hard for utility companies as you think because they can buy clean energy certificates in the regional marketplace called the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. It includes most Northeast states. Therefore, it can be achieved without all the energy produced in Rhode Island being clean. But this is still a huge win for climate action in the region. It will likely bring down the cost of renewables and create many new jobs.
Based.
Federally, the Biden administration signed an agreement with
Thanks for
11
being here
East
and give
Coast
space to
states
talk and cope.
accelerate
True.
offshore wind development, meeting with representatives in those states on Thursday. Biden has a goal of installing 30 gigawatts of offshore wind capacity by 2030. This initiative will add more support to the supply chain, creating a specialized fleet of vehicles to build and service the projects. Virginia was noticeably absent from the negotiations as Governor Youngkin has moved to withdraw the state from all climate action. Meanwhile, Congress is halfway through passing a bill to force all ship ferries to be staffed by American crews and mariners. This bill has already been passed by the House, and the offshore wind industry is lobbying the Senate to exclude them from the bill because there's not enough Americans to fill this field to meet the demand. So if this passes, it could slow the offshore wind production process. So I'll let you know how this goes. And that brings us into the climate fails. A first-of-its-kind
I'll be
analysis
lurking and
by the
learning.
Rocky
Thank
Mountain
you.
Institute found that the world's dirtiest oil and gas fields are located in Russia, Turkmenistan, and Texas. This analysis is unique because it looked at emissions across the entire supply chain,
send it to me,
which
Ryan.
the researchers found makes a big difference. The most carbon-intensive operations are 10 times more carbon-intensive than the least intensive operations. The findings were compiled into a web tool called Oil Climate Index Plus Gas, or OCI Plus, which ranks 135 global oil and gas producing resources based on 2020 figures. This index makes up about half of the world's oil and gas supplies. The Russian Astrakhanskoye oil field has the biggest footprint because of how many methane leaks it has. Methane is 84 times more potent of a greenhouse gas than CO2 for the first 20 years they're in the atmosphere. The southern Caspian Basin in Turkmenistan has the second biggest footprint, mainly due to how carbon intensive their oil production process is. And the Permian Basin in Texas is in third place for the carbon intensity of the oil production process too. The next two most intense processes are in Venezuela and China. And in Canada, the Independent Office of the Preliminary Budget determined the soaring cost of the Trans Mountain Expansion project will likely result in a negative $600 million for taxpayers. The original price estimate of the project back in 2018 was $7.5 billion, and now it's past $21.4 billion. Because of this, the researchers determined it, quote, no longer continues to be a profitable undertaking. The project, which would bring Alberta's petroleum products to the Pacific coast, runs through Indigenous land without permission and would contribute further to fossil fuel use. Let's end with some carbon capture news. The new Tata Chemicals Europe plant in Northwich announced it would capture about 36,000 tons of CO2 a year and
There's a
turn it
wiki
into baking
page on
soda.
it?
I've been thinking about uses like this. Like, why don't we just turn all CO2 into soda water? Anyways, this would be the largest carbon capture and storage plant in the UK, and over time, the company expects the uptake to increase to 40,000 tons of CO2 a year, which is about
just send it to me
11%
directly.
of the plant's annual emissions. More specifically, the carbon
Geobiology.
dioxide will be used to make sodium bicarbonate, which will then be used for dialysis machines, pharmaceutical tablets, and yes, baking soda. Meanwhile, in the U.S., the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign received a $3.5 million grant by the Department of Energy's National Energy Technology Laboratory to try to take CO2 directly out of the atmosphere and store it in concrete. The project, led by the university's Prairie Research Institute, will take place at the U.S. Steel Corps' Gary Works site in Indiana. Direct air capture has been referenced by the International Energy Agency, or IEA, as being a necessary technology for keeping warming below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Concrete, and steel for that matter, are hard to decarbonize sectors because they require high heat, which is more easily supplied by fossil fuels. So technology like direct air capture could be an important way to make up for these emissions until those industries find a way to fully decarbonize. If built, this system, which was developed by Carbon Capture Inc., could be the largest direct air capture system in the world, taking up 5,000 metric tons of CO2 every year, which is a very small amount. It's equivalent to about the annual emissions of 1,080 passenger cars. But this is still progress. And that was your climate news for Monday, June 27th. If you like the work I do, please follow this podcast, give it a 5-star rating, leave a review, and consider checking out the Beckosphere Climate Corner YouTube channel. Remember to talk about the climate crisis every single day and to support your local news organizations. Bye for now.
Based. All right. Now that we've got that, all right, folks. I'm gonna have to, unfortunately, make a short, end of the stream because I'm having some real big problems with my work computer. So I'm gonna have to take care of that, unfortunately. Well, folks, there are a couple of things before I go. Thank you so much to all the support. Yesterday there was just a overwhelming show support. Thank you. So many gifted subs and biddies and all that. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, Madame Defarge, for this sub today. Thank you for all the new follows, and Alio for the biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Folks, don't forget to hit the follow button. Don't forget to join us on the YouTubes. All right. And spread the word far and wide. I appreciate that. Jesus Christ, reading AOC sexual assault story from 10 years, making me respect her, resolve even more for considering the amount of violence and sexual threats she gets daily. Not to mention the nice, yeah, exactly, the Ice Face Group incident. Yep, 100%. See ya. Thanks for the stream. Thank you, Madame Defarge. I appreciate that. Folks, as always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya. Alright, folks. Hang tight. We are heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya.